In 1982, deep in Soviet space labs, something landed on Venus that nobody expected. It wasn't aliens, but it terrified scientists more than any monster movie ever could.
Venus was called the planet of hell, hotter than Mercury, crushing and pitch black.
The Soviets were obsessed with reaching it before America even thought it was possible. They launched probe after probe, and most of them died within minutes of arrival. Venus doesn't just kill machines, it melts them, crushes them, and erases them completely. But one Soviet lander did something no one thought could happen on that planet. It survived long enough to send back a photograph that changed everything we knew. That single image would confuse scientists for decades and spark theories nobody could disprove. This is the story of Venera 13 and the mystery still hiding on Venus today. The Cold War wasn't just fought with missiles, it was fought with rockets and cameras. While America chased the moon, the Soviet Union quietly chased something far more dangerous.
Venus, our closest planetary neighbor, was almost a complete mystery to human science.
Thick clouds of sulfuric acid hid the surface from every telescope on Earth. Nobody knew what waited beneath those clouds, and that uncertainty became an obsession. The Soviets decided they would be the first nation to actually see it. Their program was called Venera, meaning Venus, and it became a graveyard of machines. Venera 1 lost contact before it even reached the planet's deadly atmosphere. Venera 3 crash-landed, becoming the first human object to touch another planet. But touching Venus and surviving Venus turned out to be two very different things. The atmosphere on Venus is 90 times thicker than the pressure on Earth's surface. Surface temperatures reach nearly 900 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt lead. Any spacecraft landing there faced instant crushing, frying, and complete electronic failure. Soviet engineers had to build machines tougher than any submarine ever created before. They designed titanium spheres meant to survive pressure that would flatten a tank. Each failure taught them something new about the monster planet next door. By the 1970s, they finally began sending back real data from the surface. Venera 9 sent the first ever photograph taken from another planet's surface. It showed jagged rocks under a strange orange sky, eerie and completely alien. The world was stunned, but scientists wanted more. They wanted to see deeper. Then came Venera 13, launched in 1981, built to last longer than any before. Its mission was simple: land, survive, and photograph the surface in full color. On March 1st, 1982, it plunged through the thick, poisonous Venusian atmosphere. Engineers back in Moscow held their breath, expecting silence within a few minutes. Instead, something incredible happened. The lander actually made it to the ground. It survived for 127 minutes, a record no one expected. During that time, it captured the clearest color images ever taken of Venus. Scientists gathered around monitors, watching the alien landscape appear piece by piece. The images showed flat orange rock, sharp shadows, and a strange metallic horizon. Then, in one specific frame, something appeared that nobody could immediately explain. Near the edge of the lander, an odd shape sat on the ground. It looked strangely organic, almost like a leg or a curved biological limb. Scientists froze, staring at something that seemed completely out of place on Venus. Was it a rock formation, a shadow trick, or something far more unsettling? The Soviet team quietly logged the image without offering any public explanation. For years, this photo stayed buried inside classified Soviet scientific archives. When it finally became public, Western scientists noticed the same strange detail. The object seemed to have a jointed shape, unlike any natural Venusian rock. Some researchers jokingly called it the scorpion because of its curved silhouette. Others speculated it could be a broken piece of the lander itself. But the angle and position didn't match any known part of the spacecraft. Conspiracy theorists exploded with excitement, convinced Venus wasn't as dead as believed. Could there be life on Venus, hidden beneath its thick, toxic clouds? Soviet officials refused to comment, which only fueled more public speculation. Remember, this was the Cold War. Secrecy was the default Soviet response to everything. Even scientific discoveries were treated like state secrets, hidden from public eyes. That silence made ordinary people believe something bigger was being deliberately covered up.
American scientists began requesting access to the raw Venera 13 photographic data.
When they finally examined it, the debate only grew louder, not quieter. Some believed it was simply a broken thermal shield resting on the ground. Others insisted the shape moved slightly between two separate photographic frames. If true, that would mean something on Venus's surface was actually alive. Venus, the planet with crushing pressure and acid rain, hosting life, seemed impossible.
Yet no one could offer a perfect explanation that satisfied every scientist involved.
The Soviet Union, humiliated by earlier space race losses, wanted a major win. Admitting confusion over their own photograph felt like admitting weakness to rivals. So officially, the object was dismissed as a broken piece of equipment. Unofficially, several Soviet scientists reportedly disagreed with that convenient explanation entirely. Declassified notes later suggested some researchers wanted deeper analysis before any conclusion. But funding was cut, and the Soviet Venus program began slowing down. Meanwhile, the mysterious photograph kept circulating quietly among planetary scientists worldwide. In the 1990s, after the Soviet collapse, new archives became available to researchers. Western scientists finally got clearer access to original Venera photographic data. Detailed analysis suggested the object was likely a lens cap ejected on landing. Its curved shape matched engineering blueprints of the lander's camera housing system.
Case closed, according to most modern planetary scientists studying the images today.
Yet many people still weren't fully convinced by that tidy explanation.
If it was just a lens cap, why did Soviet scientists react with confusion?
Why were the original notes marked with question marks instead of clear answers?
Small, unresolved details like these keep conspiracy communities endlessly fascinated, even now.
Venus, it turns out, holds far more secrets than most people ever realized.
This wasn't the only Venera mystery to shock scientists during the Cold War. Venera 14 landed just days after its sister probe, continuing the surface survey.
Ironically, its own landing mechanism knocked away the exact soil sample it needed.
A camera lens cap fell directly onto the spot meant for soil testing.
Scientists back on Earth were both amused and horrified by the cosmic irony. It seemed Venus was determined to sabotage every careful human plan against it.
Still, both landers delivered priceless information about the planet's surface chemistry. They confirmed Venus had volcanic rock, similar in composition to basalt on Earth.
This suggested ancient volcanic activity once shaped much of the Venusian surface.
Some scientists began wondering if Venus was once far more Earth-like, billions of years ago. Could oceans have existed there before a runaway greenhouse effect boiled everything away?
If true, Venus might be a terrifying preview of Earth's own possible future. That thought alone was enough to shock any nation, not just the Soviets. Suddenly, this wasn't just about space exploration. It became a warning for humanity. The Soviet Union had unintentionally uncovered evidence tied to our own planet's fate. Climate scientists took notice, using Venus data to study extreme greenhouse effects. What began as a race for prestige turned into a lesson about survival.
Meanwhile, the mysterious photograph kept resurfacing every time Venus made headlines again. In 2020, a completely different discovery reignited global interest in this hellish planet. Scientists detected phosphine gas high in Venus's thick, toxic atmosphere using telescopes.
On Earth, phosphine is often linked closely to biological processes and living organisms.
Instantly, headlines exploded, suggesting Venus might actually harbor microbial life today.
Russian scientists, inheritors of the old Soviet space legacy, reacted with visible excitement. Their own historical Venera data suddenly felt relevant to a brand new mystery. Could that mysterious object from 1982 somehow connect to this new phosphine discovery? Researchers rushed to re-examine decades-old Venera images with modern digital enhancement tools. Enhanced scans revealed textures and shadows previous technology simply couldn't detect properly. Some details suggested subtle surface changes between the original photographic frames taken. Skeptics argued these were simply artifacts caused by dust settling after landing. But believers pointed out the timing lined up suspiciously with the phosphine findings. Suddenly, an old forgotten photograph became relevant to modern astrobiology research again. Scientific journals published competing papers,
some supporting life, others firmly rejecting it. This intense debate reminded many people of the original Soviet confusion decades earlier.
History seemed to be repeating itself, with Venus refusing to give clear answers.
Every time humanity thought Venus was fully understood, it revealed another confusing puzzle. Russian space agencies announced renewed interest in sending new missions back to Venus. They wanted answers to questions their own scientists had asked back in 1982.
NASA also announced new Venus missions, eager to settle the phosphine gas debate.
Suddenly, the quiet planet became the center of a brand new space race.
This time, though, cooperation seemed possible instead of pure Cold War competition.
Scientists realized solving Venus's mysteries required combined global effort, not rival secrecy. Newer missions promised better cameras, deeper radar, and more advanced chemical sensors. If life exists there, floating in acidic clouds, it would reshape human biology entirely. If it doesn't, we'd still learn how planets can become uninhabitable so completely. Either answer holds massive consequences for how humanity understands planetary evolution. The original 1982 photograph, once dismissed, is now studied with completely fresh eyes. Modern image processing revealed the object had subtle metallic reflections, consistent with equipment. This strongly supported the lens cap theory most scientists already believed was correct. Yet a small, stubborn detail remains, matching the object's exact engineering blueprint precisely. Some archival diagrams simply don't perfectly match the shape seen in that photo. It's close, but not identical, leaving just enough room for lingering doubt. That tiny gap between certainty and mystery keeps this story alive after decades. Space exploration is often like that, filled with almost perfect explanations, never quite complete. The Soviet Union may be gone, but Venus never stopped keeping its secrets safely. Modern Russia inherited both the pride and the unanswered questions from that era. Every new mission announcement brings renewed hope that this mystery will finally close.
Perhaps future landers will photograph that exact same spot with far sharper clarity.
If the object is truly gone, or somehow shifted, we might finally know the truth.
Until then, Venus remains humanity's closest planet, and possibly its strangest unsolved case. It's easy to forget how dangerous studying Venus actually is for any spacecraft. No lander has survived more than a couple of hours on its surface.
Every mission is essentially a race against total mechanical destruction from the environment.
That harsh reality makes every photograph, every data point, incredibly rare and valuable.
We are essentially reading messages from a planet actively trying to destroy the messenger. This is part of why the original Venera photographs remain so scientifically important. Each frame represents seconds of survival, purchased through years of engineering sacrifice. When you view it that way, the mystery object feels even more remarkable. It reminds us how much effort went into capturing something so briefly visible. Whether it's a lens cap or something science still can't fully explain, it matters.
It represents human curiosity, pushing into one of the most hostile places imaginable.
The Soviet Union may have wanted glory, but they accidentally created lasting scientific mystery. Sometimes the biggest shocks in science come from small, strange, unexplained details. A shape in a photograph, a gas in the clouds, a question without answers. These small mysteries drive entire space programs forward, decade after relentless decade. Venus continues to challenge everything humanity assumes about neighboring planets in our solar system. What started as Cold War rivalry became a shared human search for truth. And somewhere in Moscow's old archives, that strange 1982 photograph still quietly waits.
Perhaps the next mission to Venus will finally reveal what truly shocked Russia first.